Light feminine and dark feminine, Lilith and Eve. Because this is about the dark feminine is represented by Lilith and the light feminine is represented by Eve. But who was Lilith, who was Eve, and what's the deal with the dark feminine and the light feminine? First of all, let's start. Lilith was the first woman, okay? Yes, was the first wife of Adam. And because she didn't want to submit to him, she chose to leave paradise. So at the very beginning, there was Lilith and Adam. Lilith left and then Eve was created, a version of woman who was more obedient, more gentle, nurturing, caring and loving, capable to sacrifice for the others. Lilith and Eve are the two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without other, and every woman carries within her both the dark feminine and the light feminine. We have both sides, either we like it or not, either we know it or not, and both necessary, and you will find why are so necessary for us women in this video. Stay here. So both dark feminine and light feminine have positive and negative expression. Whether we are aware about it or not, we manifest them anyway. We manifest it. So it's better to understand these aspects to know when we slip into this minus side, so we can recognize it and consciously to choose to shift from the minus to plus. For example, one of the Lilith negative sides is anger and revenge. So if you notice that you are always furious, always holding resentments, you can recognize, okay, now I'm in my dark feminine energy on the negative side. So the first step is awareness, okay? And then you can start looking for where this anger comes from, because before you can transform it, you must understand its roots, from where it's coming. Once that you do it, things settle more easily, let's say. Let's go more deeper and to talk about Lilith on the negative side. This is the dark feminine minus. After we'll speak about dark feminine on plus. As I said, anger, vengeful, manipulative. She's using seduction as manipulation to gain something: status, material benefits, attention. She seeks unavailable men, like married men, in destructive ways, by the way. Wants to fight everyone, always right, always in control, arrogant, cold, detached. She feels guilt, she feels shame, she feels fear. She uses, as I said, her sexuality unconsciously, giving it away randomly or to have some advantages. She's extreme independence. I don't need a man, I can do everything alone. I don't need men in my life. Men are useless, so I am the best and I don't need men. Lilith, on the positive side, the dark feminine pluses, let's say, it is, the queen of her own life. She knows her boundaries and says yes or no with confidence. Independent but balanced, she can handle herself, yet allows men to support her too. She embraces her beauty and her sexuality consciously, magnetic, sensual, open, but not vulgar. She is powerful, she is free, she is radiant, she is attractive through her inner fire and magnetism. She embodies the energy of the sacral chakra, the second chakra, that is the chakra of sexuality, creativity, magnetism and desire. She feels good in her own skin, which naturally attracts opportunities. And now about Eve, the light feminine. So Eve represents the heart chakra. Both chakras, the sacral chakra and the heart chakra, are two of three feminine center power. The third one is the third eye, the vision. Eve, on the positive sides, let's say the light feminine on plus. How she is? She is loving, compassionate, nurturing. She is romantic, she is tender, she is kind, she loves beauty, she loves harmony, animals, nature, peace. She's vulnerable, but in a sweet, feminine way. She embodies compassion, grace, and soft emotional strength. But Eve can be also a negative side, the light feminine on minus. The first minus is the fact that she is self-sacrificing. She's giving up for her needs, for her desires and dreams for others. She's overgiving to her husband, to children, losing herself in the process, and in the end she remains alone and without energy. She feels disappointment when love or gratitude is not returned. She's giving but she's not receiving. She plays the victim many times. She complains, she blames life, she blames the other. She is the victim, okay? She builds emotional walls around her heart. She feels misunderstood and judged. She seeks validation, fears abandonment, afraid of her own voice and sexuality. And also, depending on how a woman dresses, you can often sense whether she is in the dark feminine Lilith on the plus or minus side, or in the light feminine Eve, again plus or minus side. For example, women who are in dark feminine Lilith on minus side are those who relieve as much of their body as possible, but in the vulgar way, they expose their sexuality in a way that is not necessarily elegant or connected to beauty. Their appearance is mainly meant to draw attention through the physical aspect alone, okay? They say, look at me, they want attention. But Lilith on the plus side, when it comes to clothing, because we are speaking about dressing now, is the woman who dresses in a sexy but in a mysterious, magnetic way. Maybe she leaves just, a shoulder exposed or a subtle slit on her skirt. She may cover herself more on the top, but she uncover down maybe. She radiates sensuality, magnetism. She has a magnetism that attracts attention without being vulgar, okay? And Lily often expresses herself in red and black. Red nails, red lips, and she embodies sensuality, confidence, and sexuality in a magnetic way and elegant way, okay? And now Eve on the plus side is that woman who loves long romantic dresses, flowering skirts, soft pastel colors, beige tones. She wears very light makeup, sometimes almost natural. Even her perfume is a little bit floral, delicate. She feels like a flower herself. Her beauty, her smile, her grace, her gestures, captive you in a soft and tender way. She wears fine jewelry, a really small one, delicate, and you can see that it's delicate like a flower, okay? But on contrast, Eve on the minus side, in her clothing, is the woman who dresses just to cover herself without wanting to attract any attention at all. She may throw on pants, a t-shirt, just to be invisible, because she doesn't really take care of herself. She doesn't want to pay attention to her hairs, her nails, her appearance. She lets herself go, She cares about the others, but not about her femininity and about her presence. So, to put it simply, Lilith wounded, that is the dark feminine on the minus side, is really rebellious, angry, manipulative. She's using her sexuality to have some advantages. Eve wounded, the light feminine on the minus side, is that woman that is self-sacrificing herself, emotionally needy, the one that is all the time victim, that she's complaining. But both also have their higher sides, okay? And every woman has them inside. Each woman has, and the pluses and the minus of Eve and Lilith. Lilith is often considered our shadow side, the part of us where humanity has rejected for thousands of years. For millennia, society focused on Eve, the obedient, selfless, the good girl, And now actually women are reclaiming Lilith, but often through her shadow: anger, revenge, wounded independence. Okay, so the key is actually the integration. When we integrate Lilith, we embrace our wholeness. We honor both Lilith and Eve. For example, astrology even shows where Lilith is in your chart, pointing to your shadow and lessons. But beyond astrology, the truth is the fact that we carry, as I said, Eve in our heart, because here we have Eve, and Lilith in our womb. And together they make us complete. So it's really necessary to take care more about this subject, femininity. Okay, feminine is not only flower power and roses and nice dresses and makeup and the way that we look. That's important also, but femininity is much deeper. And in this video I just highlight a little bit about this dark and light feminine, but in essence it's so much here to talk and to integrate and to understand. I hope that this video was useful for you, brought you some insights, and see you to the next one. Thank you.